So again, we're going to look at a combination code is a single code used to classify two diagnoses or a diagnosis with an associated secondary process, a diagnosis with an associated complication. So a combination code is pretty much just the opposite. So it's going to be one code for two conditions. Okay, so combination codes are identifying by referring to the subterm entries in the alphabetic index by reading the inclusion terms and excludes notes in the tabular list. Assign only the combination code when that code fully identifies the diagnostic conditions involved or when the alphabetic index so directs. Multiple coding should not be used when the classification provides a combo code that clearly identifies all of the elements documented in the diagnosis. When the combination codes lacks necessary specificity in describing the manifestation or complication, an additional code should be used as a secondary code. Okay, so let's go back to our example. So here a patient has a calculus of the bile duct and also has acute cholecystitis. So in our alphabetic index, we are looking, these are two conditions, right? So we have a calculus nestled in our bile duct, and we also have an acute cholecystitis. That's two conditions, and we are going to get to a combination code for this. And again, we're looking at our index and we're looking at those indentations. And again, this is part of the classification and how the classification works. So we go to calculus, bile duct, with. Our with convention tells us the provider doesn't have to connect these two conditions, that we can automatically make an assumption between the cholecystitis and the calculus in the bile duct. And then we get to acute, which is K80.4. Okay, so we're going to double check ourselves in the tabular as we always do. So we're going to go to the tabular list. And we're going to look at K80.42, calculus of bile duct with acute cholecystitis without obstruction, because we don't have that detail. So we have to default to without obstruction. So in this case, it would be incorrect to use multiple codes for the calculus of the bile duct and the acute cholecystitis, because our single code is going to lead us to one code, which is K80.42, which is exactly what the alphabetic index is doing here. Okay, sequelae codes. They used to be called late effects in ICD 9, and now we call them sequelae. So the definition of a sequela is the residual effect, which is the condition produced after the acute phase of an illness or injury has terminated. There's no time limit on when a sequela code can be used. The residual may be apparent early, such as in cerebral infarction, or it may occur months or years later, such as that due to a previous injury. So some examples of sequelae include a scar that has formed as a result of a burn, a deviated septum due to a nasal fracture previously, and infertility due to a tubal occlusion from old tuberculosis. Coding of the sequela generally requires now I want you to look at that word generally, because there are exceptions to every rule. Not every rule, but most rules. So generally requires two codes sequenced in the following order. The condition or nature of the sequela is sequenced first. The sequela code is sequenced second. So let's look at an example. So we have a patient coming in with a deviated septum due to a previous fracture. Here we see deviation of the septum, nasal acquired. J34.2. Here we have a fracture traumatic, and that is going to be S02.2. Because this is not a current traumatic fracture, right? So the patient has a previous fracture of their nasal bone. Our seventh character here is going to be the sequela. So again, just a reminder that our seventh characters are found at the category level. So at the SO2 level, we'll find this S for the seventh character. And since these don't add any specificity, that's our X convention. We had to add the X's there because there isn't any other level of detail that we have about this. So the two X's are here, and then we have the letter S for a sequela. Okay, so we have fracture of nasal bone sequela. So that's just saying we have a sequela, that this patient has a deviated nasal septum that was due to a previous fracture of the nasal bone. So because it's a sequela, we're not really treating the fracture anymore. The fracture is done, but now we have a deviated nasal septum as a result. So our sequencing is that the deviated nasal septum has to be first. And that's exactly what this guideline is saying. Okay, looking at this exception. So patient with aphasia due to previous cerebrovascular infarction. So here we have an exception to the above guidelines are those instances where the code for the sequela is followed by a manifestation code identified in the tabular list and title, or the sequela code has been expanded at the fourth, fifth, or sixth character to include the manifestation. So in this case, we actually have a code that is going to describe in full the sequela and what caused it. So in this case, we have aphasia. So that's our sequela. That is the residual effect following a cerebrovascular infarction. So this is all one code. It fully describes the condition that we're looking at. So we really don't need an extra code here because we have everything that we need.